Maybe that for now, unless I refresh my memory.
Okay. Can you give Can you give us the specific roles that you would be expected to perform as the Secretary of the County Public Service Board itself?
The Secretary to the County Public Service Board is also at the same time the Chief Executive Officer of the board. And being Secretary to the board, you're also supposed to organize business of the board. You are also the custodian of the documents of the board. When the board also sits and make decisions, it's the CEO who takes into effect those decisions. It's also expected of the secretary or the CEO of the board once in a while to give advice where necessary in terms of adherence to provisions in law on mandate of the board.
Okay, fair enough. Can you give the specific qualifications that one is required, qualification experience that one is required to possess for them to take up the role of the secretary to the board?
You need to have been, you need to have gained a wealth of experience in terms of management of at least 10 years. You should also be having academic qualifications that are necessary for you to have that position. And the minimum qualification is a bachelor's degree. Of course, you can have added qualifications. For the secretary, it's required that you be a certified secretary, registered with the Institute of Certified Secretaries, and of good standing.
That's all?
That is the much I can figure out. Pardon? Of course, Chapter 6, the leadership and integrity. Of course, that goes without saying, that you need to be conversant and adhere to the Chapter 6 of leadership and integrity. Of course, that goes along with being compliant with the national values and principles of public service.
Honorable Speaker, on the same, I want to ask Wesley, for how long do you serve at the police service?
Close to 7 years.
7 years.
That's from 2013 to 2010.
You left in your own volition, or you discharged?
I was discharged.
Okay. Okay. Would you kindly tell this committee the reasons why you were discharged?
Discharge, when it comes to leaving police service, is not a bad thing. I left service because I secured an appointment with the National Environment and Management Authority. So I applied for resignation. But when you are leaving service, they issue you with a discharge certificate. So, and it's part of the documents which I've shared.
There's a discharge certificate is there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the question the honorable member is trying to put forward is whether you were discharged honorably for this function.
The discharge was very honorable. And in that, even in when I served with NEMA, the discharge was also honorable. I've never been dismissed. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. We have national values and principles of governance that bind both state officers and public officers. Kindly tell us, as a secretary, what will bound you as a secretary, which values and principles will bound you as the secretary of the Public Service Board?
You need to exercise fairness as a secretary. the Public Service Board. What is also critical is, of course, the rule of law, working as provided for in various regulations, including the Constitution, the County Government Act, and all other provisions. You also need to be professional in whatever you do. It's required of a public secretary to act to the expectation of the public. You also need not to use the position that you have to gain undue advantage and misuse the office that you have, because you'll be holding the office in trust of the public. You need to abide by the Integrity Act at all times, and where you are a member to a provisional body, maintain your good standing. Those are some of the principles that need to bind a secretary in discharging the responsibilities of the board.
All right. Okay. You have another question?
Yeah. Okay. If given chance to be the secretary of the Public Service Board, we are aware that the staff of Bomet County have been going through a lot of challenges, especially on the side of promotion. Some have stayed for more than 10 years without any promotion, and it has caused a lot of demoralization, and some of them are not even feeling that they are being motivated. So given chance, what plans will you consider, and especially in the staff establishment, and consider to motivate the staff for them to work in the various departments?
Thank you, member. First of all, should I be lucky to be considered, I will appreciate the consideration. That will be the first thing. Then, secondly, I know that one of the key issues that the board should be concerned is the development of the staff. That could be in terms of training and mentorship. Motivation is very key. Motivation could be drawn from monetary gain, or even being allowed to do trainings. I'm not conversant of the situation as it is, because I'm not yet in the board. But of course, once you join the board, you must have a baseline of how the situation is at your point of entry. That will inform you of what you need to do. Because unless you have that record and be very clear of who holds which position, for how long has been holding that position, how was the appointment letter drawn, what was the provision in the appointment letter in terms of the due date of promotion, and side things. So once you are informed of those issues, then of course I'll then table it before the board with my advice for consideration. It's unfair for someone to have served for quite a long time, have qualified for promotion, not subjected to any disciplinary proceedings, but still denied the chance of rising up the ladder. I'm a product of having allowed room to grow. Someone else on the same note must also grow. That goes without saying.
Thank you. Honorable Majority Leader.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Mr. Wesley.
Yes.
Recently, the media highlighted cases of about 1,800 staff who were sacked in Nandi County after it emerged that they were irregularly employed. If you are appointed secretary to the County Public Service Board, how will you deal with the following? One, appointment of staff to the County Public Service Board.
One, if I get an opportunity to serve within the board, we also have an establishment as a County Public Service Board. We are filling offices which have been given room to be available by virtue of the establishment of the board. I want to also believe that holders of position in those offices must also possess certain academic qualifications and other professional qualifications. So should a vacancy arise, due process of filling those positions must be followed to avoid cases of irregularity. Because irregularity could be an issue like failing to advertise a position in public service. So we'll be guided by the law to avoid cases of irregularity, and that everybody must be put in place following the due process. I must appreciate the fact that I am appearing before this committee courtesy of a clean process. And I'll also move with the same spirit to make sure that everything is done as provided for in the law.
Okay, so it's like you have answered even my second question, the legal provision in the Constitution.
I'm glad.
That will guide you to avoid the pitfalls that befell Nandi County government.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think you have answered. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Let's move to Deputy Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Mr. Ruto.
Thank you.
To this panel. I want to ask you around 3 questions. One, what policy decision will you advise the county government of Bomet to undertake?
Pardon?
What policy decisions will you advise the county government of Bomet pertaining the new, or rather the emerging issues to do with international jobs? I believe you may have learned through social media that there were jobs being advertised and the people were being interviewed to go and work outside this country. What policies will you put in place so that even the youth from Bomet County can benefit from the same?
That is great. First of all, what I would advise, of course based on what you've inquired from me, is that it's an emerging issue that we are getting interest in sending our youth abroad because of the unemployment issues. So one, I want to believe that we need to begin collecting a database of requirements by those international employers for our people to qualify for consideration. When that is done, the county should then be advised to see a way in which our people can also gain those necessary academic and professional qualifications for consideration abroad. I don't know, but the county public service would also be going overboard in terms of sharing information with the public in terms of the available vacancies abroad. But if it is done for the common good of the people, then that be it. We need to advise the county government to also see how we can publish and share information as much as possible to the people of Bomet to be able to enjoy those adverts or those employments given abroad.
Okay, that's fair enough. Number 2, are there family members or other persons, parties, categories of litigation, or even financial arrangements which may present themselves as bringing in maybe a potential conflict of interest? If now, as you are tending towards assuming this office, if you are nominated?
None. I don't want to consider myself unlucky that I don't have a family member within the service, but none exist. I have no financial obligation in the county that can also render me have a conflict of interest that makes me ineffective in performance of my duties. None exist.
Okay, should one of such cases present itself, how will you handle?
The most prudent thing is first to declare that conflict of interest. If the conflict of interest is to the extent that you fail to be an effective a public servant that is desired to be, if there is need to exit service, then it will be allowed. But if it's in matters to do with decisions, and you can excuse yourself out of that body that makes decision because of the conflict of interest, that to me is encouraged. It's encouraged.
Okay. Now, most of the HR issues in the county governments are prone to litigation measures. You know, you can realize that you may have a group of people or parties going to court to challenge a decision which can be made by the County Public Service Board. In such a situation, what will you do as the secretary to the board?
First of all, it should be the interest of a county secretary to the County Public Service Board to cushion the board from those litigation to the extent that is practicable. In the event that it's not practicable, and somebody has resorted to take a matter to court, which is of course within the right of that person to present that matter to court, then the board should also be able to facilitate the wheels of justice to be able to determine a judgment, of course, that is fair to the board. Of course, alongside that, other than taking matters to the court, other issues could also be taken to the public service in terms of appeals or review of decisions by the board. You should also be in a position to facilitate those reviews and those appeals to be determined, but of course in favor to the board. Of course, knowing that whatever you have done is to the interest of the county.
Okay, thank you. One very last question, Mr. Chair. From your experience or knowledge of the county government of Bomet, are there cases in court?
I know of a case in court that was determined in favor of employees who, as another member was putting it, were irregularly employed, but they served for a while on contract terms, and the contract was not terminated or renewed as was desired. They took a matter to court, and the High Court ruled in their favor. I know the matter still went to the Court of Appeal, but as I sit before you now, I'm not conversant with the position that case is as at now.
Okay, but you'll be ready to inject new blood in resolving the issues?
Of course, to the extent that it is now. If called upon to give an advice, I will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Changmori.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Mr. Ruto. We have government structures in national government, which you are aware that we have Public Service Commission, we have Senate, we have County Assembly, and National Assembly, and also we have the county government, which consists of the County Assembly and the executive. All these government structures explain how you will work harmoniously with the above, with those structures of government as a county public service secretary.
Thank you. I need to really agree with the member that as a board you need to have good working relationships with all structures of government, both at the devolved level, at the county, and at the national level. Of course, it's given that the board need to regularly furnish the county assembly with the reports of discharge of its duties. In fact, it's required annually that a report is submitted. We also work with the county government, of course, through the county secretary, who is the head of public service. They also have their desires, and they may raise concerns on officers to be filled or officers that may need to be scrapped. If such requests are made to the board, then they are supposed to be considered. I know, serving within the county public service board and serving the people, the public servants, you may find yourself in one way or the other being required to furnish other structures of government with necessary information, like even the National Assembly, if called upon, or even the Senate. If you are required to submit necessary information, then you need to. You need to. Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wesley.
Yes, Chair.
I've seen your resume, and interestingly, you did Bachelor's of Science.
I did a Bachelor's of Science degree in Appropriate Technology.
Looks like it is engineering.
It looks like such.
Looks like such.
But then it means you need to analyze the technologies that are failed themselves.
It's called appropriate technology.
And see what befits the times. Like as of now, AI is the way to go. AI is the way to go.
Looks like I've touched where you laugh most, AI. How will you bring in AI to assist in terms of HR or public service board?
It will assist a great deal in terms of even maintaining database, doing analysis in terms of recruitments, establishment. If people exit service, what are the reasons that have made them exit service, so that you're able to analyze the data that you have within the service.
I see also that you did geospatial database development.
Yes, I did.
Do you think it will apply, or will it assist if applied?
It may or may not. It depends on what you do with it.
Suppose I want to know what a staff want or it is doing in, say, Siongirui or Chebunya. Is it possible with your phone to do that?
Yeah, but it requires massive investment. But it's a possibility.
There's a possibility. Don't you think it's possible for you to, if given an opportunity, you can...
Opportunity and resources, it's a possibility.
All right.
Honorable Speaker. Okay, sorry.
Just a minute.
Okay, fine.
On your letter of discharge, it is indicated that you, although your character is exemplary, I'm wondering, you come from Mugondo?
That is where...
So are you from Bomet or from Narok?
I'm a resident of Bomet.
But here it shows you are from Transmara.
As at the time of issuance of the ID, I was issued from Transmara. I've been in Bomet for... Well, of course, my origin is not even that place. My origin is Kataret place in Shonkiroya. So because of call for duty, my father shifted to that place. So at the time I was due to process my ID, I processed from that end.
Okay.
But I claim the right of being a resident of Bomet as of now. For a period of 15 years, I am.
You are? Okay. I think all is well. Unless any one of the members has anything. Oh, Eric, yes, we had.
Yeah, thank you. Wesley, are you aware of the provisions of the PFM regulation on the fiscal responsibility principle in terms of personnel emoluments? Can you give us the percentages that are allowable as per the PFM regulations on the percentages that the PE needs to be in the county?
I'm not really conversant with the exact percentage. What I know is that a wage bill is a percentage of allocation to the county. And that brings me into the issue of litigations that are also in court, which I know at times orders could be given which are not executable, courtesy, of course, of that provision, because the wage bill is not supposed to balloon beyond the provided percentage.
So you're not aware of any percentage?
I think it's around 30%, but I'm not quite aware. It's around 30%.
You like you've said, you're talking about litigations. Do you have you followed any? Have you been in any HR-related litigation before in your previous engagements?
Not really. I've only handled matters, petitions related to election in terms of litigations. HR issues, not as such.
Okay. So if you've not handled HR and you'll be the CEO of a recruiting body, don't you think it will pose a challenge now that this is not really an election but HR related?
Not really an issue. It's not an issue because the provisions in law are very clear as to even matters to do with dismissal. A person needs to be given a fair hearing. And it is within an individual's right to even challenge the decisions by the board. So we need to open those avenues. And I'm also somebody who can follow up on matters, legislation, because it's also a dynamic field. You could be having an act in place now, which is repealed the following day. So you cannot rely on your past experience and your current state of mind to take yourself like you are in the right place. You could be right now, but if things change and you are not able to follow up with the dynamics, you will also get it wrong. So I'll be able to pull with it.
So are you telling this committee that experience doesn't really matter?
It matters, but I'm saying you also need to be somebody who goes with emerging issues. If issues come up, you need to follow up with them. Experience matters. That's why I'm sitting before you, because of the experience that I've gained over time. It really matters, and it's a factor of promotion of staff, assignment of duties. It really matters.
And finally, Honorable Chair, maybe what is your motivation to move from IBC to the county? And I think there's a bad tag around counties. You know, just from looking, IBC looks like a premium institution. Why do you want to move to the county? And you know you're already walking into the murky waters of the county. What is your motivation?
Thank you for that question. I think the murky waters, by your assessment, could be the political environment that we are operating in.
Plus, even the litigations, you've been told about litigations.
And litigations.
Yeah.
But what has motivated me over time is that once placed in a place, if you have goodwill in terms of performance, you will get a way out. IBC may also be regarded as a premium institution, as you are putting it, but it may also not be as such, because IBC is an institution that has also done well to this country, but not without challenges also. So the challenges that we have within the county government are not unique. The motivation that I have in joining the service is that over time, I've drifted towards working with the people. And having an opportunity to work with the county public service, I'll appreciate. So, and I'm up to the task in terms of course, appreciating the challenges within the county government.
Okay, Wesley. Honorable Chair, thank you. I really like the bit that Wesley said he wants to work with the people. I don't know who he was working with who is working with while they're at IBC. I thought the same people that you work with, right?
They are the same people.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wesley, one last question. Are you involved in any community project or something, pro bono services, something like that? It's called giving back to the community. Are you involved in anything?
Well,
Or it is, what is it? Tell us.
maybe not very much, but being a person of Christian background, one such involvement is in the church. And of course, when I mention the church, there are several activities that go along with it. Secondly, I take interest in projects that are being run either by the county government or the national government that affect the general population, especially matters to do with farming. I practice farming myself. So when I see a project that is coming to the locality that I reside, I usually participate and where called upon, give advice as needed. Maybe the other activity that I've done is that we one time engaged ourselves in a youth mentorship program. That idea came to me and a number of other fellows, and we saw it wise to assemble youths once in a while and coach them on how they need to carry themselves as youth at the current times. I think that is what I have also been doing of late.
All right. Thank you very much, Wesley. On behalf of the board, I think we've come to the end of this vetting process. On behalf of the staff who are with us and the members here, we want to wish you the very best. Just a point for you to note is that the committee will retreat, come up with a report, and bring back the report to this house for approval, probably next week or the week after. You will be notified of the same once the House makes a decision. Up to that juncture, we want to wish you the very best on behalf of everybody within the Assembly. Thank you very much. Unless you have something for...
Thank you, Jia. Maybe one thing that I have is that I found it a great privilege to be invited to this vetting. It's my first appearance in a vetting process in a county assembly, but the experience was good. The questions were insightful. I'm sorry if I may not have been able to put across my responses as was expected, but I want to believe that I give whatever responses I had in good faith, honest. I was honest in my responses. I want to wish you well as you retreat and make your report. I wish county government of Bomet well, the county assembly with the leadership of the speaker. May God continue to lead and guide you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Be blessed.
A bottle of water is yours, brother.
Thank you. I think I'll be allowed to carry it.
You can take it.
Thank you.
Consider a gift from the assembly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Barikiwe sana.
Yes. So, members, I think we've come to the end of the exercise.